So many people dream of quitting their job and becoming a full-time author, but very, very few people actually do it. Now, why is that? Because they don't have a plan. So in this video, I'll show you what it really takes financially, mentally, and strategically to go full-time as a fiction writer. No fluff, no hype, just what actually works. Wow. Thinking about it, going full-time author in the fiction world, that sounds pretty amazing. Wake up when you want, write stories for a living, create worlds. But behind that dream is a harsh reality. Writing income, it's unpredictable. Writing books don't sell without marketing, and motivation alone will build a career. Just because you want to do it doesn't mean you can do it unless you have a plan. So if you want to make this sustainable, you need a structure, you need a system, and a strategy that's going to bridge the gap between hobby writing and professional authorship. And that's what we're covering today. So step one, the first thing to do is I want you to build a 3-book launch plan with a budget. If you want full-time income, you need full-time assets. And in fiction, that means multiple books. So when you think about one book, that's a product. You got a book, just hand it out to people, you have a product. But 3 books or more, that's a business. Now here's the goal. Write and launch a minimum trilogy or series before trying to go full-time. So you get all 3 of these and you're ready to go. Now why? Because read-through generates momentum and it generates royalties, and those stack across a series. Then also I want you to think about this as a budget for everything you need for it. The covers, the editing, and even the basic ads. Even if it's really tight, reinvest early profits into the book. Now here's a pro tip. Write all 3 books before launching book 1, which allows for faster releases and better marketing alignment. You don't want to lose readers because it's going to take you a couple years to write that second one because you still got something else to do. Step 2, create a monthly income floor. Now you don't have to go full-time cold turkey like, I'm done. No, I'm a full-time author. Start by building a floor. By that, I mean a minimum monthly income that lets you transition safely. So here's a couple of different ways you can supplement your income while you build your book revenue. One, like a lot of people who are doing this, there's a guy named Chandler who's doing this. He was a professor, but other people might want to do it in writing, freelance writing, editing, blurb writing. Maybe you're doing some coaching. You could do something on Patreon. You could do serial fiction platforms. So you could do your other work in the world of writing, or you could actually have another day job or a night job while you do this. And don't quit your floor until you have at least 3 months of consistency. See, fictional income can sometimes feel lumpy, so you want to give yourself a buffer. 3, treat your writing like a business. You really want to treat this like a business metric. Like think about how many words per week and what's your average book length? How long does editing take? So you want to know this, and then you would want to build a simple dashboard to track things like your word count goals, your draft progress, your revenue per book, per series. You want to know your ad spend. If you don't track it, then you can't scale. Let me say that again. If you don't track it, you can't scale it. I know I'm talking to a lot of authors here. So we're creative, thinking about things, but if you can't track it, you can't scale it. Set deadlines, celebrate progress, and then improve your speed and your systems as you go. You know what's fun is I actually follow a whole bunch of people who do books on different platforms like Patreon or Royal Road. And watching what they do, they're releasing all kinds of different books. But you know what? They didn't start like that. They're doing exactly the way that I said it. That's what they did when they started. Now they're churning out books. But at the very beginning, they had a whole bunch of different books out there. They had them ready to go, and then they start releasing them, and then they gathered that readership. And then once they had that readership, they were able to get away from their outside income. And now people like a guy named Zogarth, he's doing this at a super, super, super high level, which is going to tap into something I'll mention in a moment. You don't have to use your real name. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Grow an email list from day 1. That's step 4. So your email list is your direct line to readers. Now, social media can be great, websites, etc., but algorithms change. Emails give you control. Start growing a list early. Like literally, if you have not done this, you need to start doing this right away. So here's a couple different ways that you can grow an email list. You can offer a reader magnet, like a short story or a bonus chapter. You can use BookFunnel or Story Origin to collect emails. And you want to mention your email list inside every single book, or anytime you're on a podcast or anything that you're doing regarding your book, you want to mention it. It needs to be something that people can find on your website or your social media very, very easily. even 500 to 1,000 subscribers, which in a lot of ways is not huge, but that can produce a real launch income. And then they're more likely to buy, review, and refer your books. When I think about this, I think about the story that my son and I have been reading through the last several years. It's called The Academy. It's about a soccer stud named Leo. Now, my son and I got it a couple of years ago, and we finished reading it one night, and my son said, "Oh, that's great, Dad. Can we get the next one?" So I just went on Amazon, downloaded it, we picked it up, the next one, and we just got it from there. And then we got to the end of that one, and my son said, "Oh, let's get the next one." And I went online to find it, and there was no Academy Book 3. So I went onto his website, and there was a spot for an email. And so I entered my email so I could find out when the next book was coming out. Now, I didn't get anything for a couple of months, and I totally forgot about the book. But one day I got an email, and it said, "Hey, my book's out." So what did I do? I went online, I bought the book, and we started reading it. Now, that author, because he got my email, was able to get 4 more purchases from me, and I'm eagerly awaiting the next release. So when you have the email, you don't miss out on your readers. You don't miss out on your customers. How many businesses, how many authors, how many great services out there simply miss out because they can't follow up with somebody who wants what they have? Don't let that be you. Step 5. Diversify your fiction income. Don't rely on one book, one platform, or even one source of income. The most successful full-time authors diversify. So they got their ebook, they got their paperback, they even have a hardcover and audiobook. They're on Amazon, they're on Kobo, they're on Barnes & Noble, they're on Apple Books. They might even have courses and coaching if it's relevant. They might have merch. Also consider writing in multiple genres or pen names once you've built your first stable system. Now, I mentioned that I was going to come back to pen names earlier, didn't I? So one great way for you to do this is to have a different type of genres that you work in. So once you work one series, you might, hey, I'm going to do something on just like dark fantasy. Now I'm going to do something over here in romance. Now I'm going to do something here on name your genre. And so you can have different ways that you're connecting with different types of readers. And that's a great way for you to diversify and get outside of it. Now, here's a bonus. License your IP for translation, adaptation, or bundling with other authors. Now let's talk about the long game. This whole idea of a full-time fiction, you want to play the long game. This is not an overnight path, but it's 100% possible. Even if you think about other people that seem like overnight, like J.K. Rowling, oh, she was overnight. No, she wasn't. The amount of success that she's had has been over a long period of time. And thousands of authors have done it, and you can too. So here's what it takes. A multi-book strategy, smart income planning, consistent writing output, direct reader connection, that's the email, long-term patience. If you want help building this kind of author career, I highly recommend that you do what I just did as well, because I'm in this world right with you. And you grab a book called The Fundamentals of Fiction by R.E. Vance, or join our community of writers who are doing exactly what you're working on doing, writing fiction and becoming a full-time fiction author. And if you're already on this path, hey, that's incredible. Drop a comment below with your current word count or your publishing plan. When I started writing in 2019, I had no idea that 6 years later, I'd still be talking about my book, Speak with No Fear. Now you hear that and you go, Mike, that's not a fiction. I get it, but it was my first book launch. And still years later, it makes me a great amount of money every single month. And people ask, Mike, how does it keep on making you money? I said, because I never stopped working it. I never stopped talking about it. I wrote a series. I've connected with all these different people, just like what I've been telling you to do. And now I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you to do. I have 200,000 words as of this recording in my fiction that I'm developing, which is already 2 books. I'm working on the 3rd book. I'm working on the universe. I'm doing what I'm telling you. I'm right there with you. But even as I've moved into this fiction from my nonfiction work on public speaking and writing about that, I haven't stopped working here. So don't stop what you start. Keep working on this. Keep going back. Keep making it better, even as you explore and develop new worlds and new genres and and new pen names. This is an exciting way that you get to live, and we get to do it together. Let's make full-time fictions a reality for all of us.